So 8,000 odd people in the guest list. Some of those who will be sworn in have already been seated. I think they're waiting for the Prime Minister. It's 6:40 by my watch. Hema Malini, BJP MP from Mathura, in attendance, as is Vasundhara Raje Scindia. And Ratan Tata. As we look at these images, Arun, it seems like this is not restricted. You know, when they came to power, the Modi-Shah duo, they talked about the outsider, being outsiders. By opening this to the people of India with this kind of a ceremony, they have made it more participative. Is that the...
I think, you know, it's very ironical because Modi and Amit Shah, they have always been accused of over-centralization of the party apparatus as well as the functioning of the government. And here we have a ceremony because I know for sure that amongst these 8,000 guests, you have, apart from people cutting across various walks of life, you also have a large number of BJP workers, those who have worked at the grassroots level, as well as in the BJP war rooms across the country. There are a number of social media activists who have been large influencers who have played a very important role, and they are the unsung heroes, and they were delighted when they were invited.
Right.
Nobody had recommended their name. The Prime Minister office picked it up through the party BJP's recommendations, and very common people, the common worker of BJP has been invited.
Right.
I think Narendra Modi takes every opportunity to strengthen that connect. He leaves nothing, no opportunity. So he has, and he is making this as a victory of the Karyakartas, the workers. So I think he's trying to get out of that image of over-centralization also.
Right. Sushma Swaraj, they're walking in, and it'll be interesting to see where she sits. Because there were reports that the government reached out to her, but she's not contested the election because of ill health. Yesterday, Prime Minister Modi also met Arun Jaitley at his residence. He too has recused himself, saying that because of his health, he will not be part of the new government. So will Sushma Swaraj retain her post? Will she be let go of? And if she doesn't join, then that'll mean two vacancies in the CCS, in the core team of the government, the Cabinet Committee on Security, which comprises 4 ministries: Home, Finance, Foreign Affairs and Defence. And we had 2 women in the CCS. In fact, the previous government's record was the best when it came to women cabinet ministers. I'm against tokenism, but I have to bring these figures up. There were 6 cabinet ministers who were women out of a total of 25. So that's 24% of the cabinet being women, the highest ever in India. That was the previous government. We'll have to wait and see who makes it this time. I saw some other interesting figures. Giriraj Singh, who defeated the left candidate Kanhaiya Kumar from Begusarai. And we had Anurag Thakur from Himachal Pradesh, 4th time Member of Parliament. They were both on the dais. I can't yet figure out where Sushma Swaraj is sitting. But the fact that... and let me take this question to Andrew Whitehead. Some of the senior-most leaders of the BJP have either taken up constitutional positions or have retired. And while the 2014 government was a mix of Modi and NDA, this is going to be Modi all the way. So while there's a challenge to get faces, to get individuals who can deliver, who can perform, it's also an opportunity to make that generational shift in the government.
Well, Modi absolutely has all the authority, but he does want to make sure that the NDA continues to be a working alliance. So I think the difficulty with Nitish Kumar will get sorted before too long, because the BJP and the JDU need each other in Bihar, and I think there are state elections coming up there next year. As for Sushma Swaraj, clearly the fact that she's not stood again suggests that she sooner or later wants to relinquish ministerial office. I've heard suggestions that she wants to stay on for a little bit longer at External Affairs. Whether she'll get that or not, I don't know. Arun Jaitley's departure leaves, I think, the most urgent task before Narendra Modi. Who is he going to put into that most crucial of roles? There clearly is a possibility that it will go to somebody like Amit Shah because he has got so much the confidence of the Prime Minister, but it is a very big role to take on, and Amit Shah might go for a less specialised role. There is also the possibility that he might get a sort of ministerial role without portfolio so that he can continue to focus on party affairs, because I think there's a real danger for Narendra Modi if he brings Amit Shah into one of the really big cabinet posts. Who will then look after the party? There's lots of people who can do it well, but can anybody do it quite so superbly as Amit Shah has in recent years?
Right. So what Amit Shah can do and where the party needs him is one thing. What Amit Shah wants for himself is quite another. He's been a worker of the party. He steered the party through electoral wins, Arun. But is there a sense that Amit Shah now wants to play an active role in the government?
So it doesn't matter whether...
With the designation.
See, I would look at it like this. In this setup of things, it doesn't matter whether Amit Shah wants to play what role. It's Narendra Modi who is going to decide what role he is going to play.
But he's going to have to accommodate some people. I mean, he
will.
Take care of the aspirations of some, at least.
He needs a team around him. But, you know, this is a new BJP in the sense, even in BJP during the NDA 1 regime, I remember, there used to be hectic lobbying whenever there was a cabinet reshuffle or whenever when the oath-taking ceremony had to happen and the new cabinet was sworn in. There was an episode of, Jaswant Singh being replaced by Murli Manohar Joshi at the last moment. But he has made it clear ever since 2014, and even in states also where BJP is ruling, nobody lobbies for anything. Because ultimately it is decided at the basis of the merit, the political competency, the value you bring on the table, and they have now a very... you may call it robust system, you may call it an opaque system, but they have a system where lobbying will not, and the Prime Minister himself said this. So I think, and another point I want to make is that this generational shift which you were talking about, I think that has become the core strength of BJP, that the BJP is continuously reinventing itself. It is not necessarily sticking with one generation of leaders. They feel that they need to bow out, and the leaders themselves are doing that. I think probably the Mardarshak Mandal experience has been a lesson for, many, that it is better you quit when people ask you why rather than when people start asking why not.
Absolutely. The average age of the cabinet the last time around was 62.2 years. Among the youngest members of the cabinet was Smriti Irani in her 40s, Dharmendra Pradhan, 49, and Harsimrat Kaur Badal, 52. These were among the youngest members. The older ones included the likes of Thawar Chand Gehlot, who were beyond 70. India is a young country, Amy Kasman, and many say that the cabinet's average age should reflect that. Do you believe that Mr. Modi is in a position to make that shift significantly, given the people we see on the dais?
Look, India may be a young country, but it is a country that tends to look for seniority in its politicians. The average age of India's politicians have always been older than far older than the average age of the population. And as some people sometimes joke, India is the only country in the world where somebody who is 45 years old can be described as kind of a youth leader. So I don't know that there's really a big pool of young leaders for Mr. Modi to really draw on. And I think also given the premium that he wants to place on, the ability to deliver, he may not feel that it's really the opportune time to kind of induct people and kind of experiment with youth. I think he's done interesting things in terms of promoting youth as parliament members. I mean, there's a 28-year-old from Bangalore, Tejasvi Surya, who's been elected to parliament. So I think he's trying to induct people in at the parliamentary level. It looks like there's a kind of a clutch of young leaders that have been kind of taken and backed by the party and ridden into parliament on the Modi wave. And I think these people will slowly be groomed. But I think that for now, Mr. Modi is really focusing on, a cabinet that he thinks will deliver. Expectations are very high. There there are serious challenges facing the economy, and I think that he doesn't want to do something just for show to kind of say, oh look, I've put in youth. I think he rather is looking for people that he can feel confident that he can trust them to run their ministries professionally and deliver. I mean, if you really look at all the rhetoric around the election campaign, it was very much on what was delivered, how programs were rolled out, and I think he wants people that have a sense of how the government of machinery works and that can kind of hit the ground running.
Indeed, as we look at these images and heads of state now finally coming in and taking their positions, we're waiting for the president and, of course, the prime minister-elect to come. The camera is focusing a lot on S. Jaishankar. He is the new name in the mix. R.K. Upadhyay, we're talking about the generational shift, who will get what. The fact is that this is also a government that has been elected with a lot of expectation, and they will have to find ways to deliver those sooner rather than later. And they'll also have to focus on winning more elections, because we're talking about a two-thirds majority in the Lok Sabha, a simple majority in the Rajya Sabha, and this is an election machinery that needs to keep going given the nature of Indian democracy. You have elections every year.
That's true, Palki. You know, it's not just a generational shift. I think the BJP will also have to look at the kind of talent that they already have. They've got 303 members elected across the country, but still, Mr. Narendra Modi, you see he gets riled when people say that it's a mostly Hindi belt party, which has been. But, look at the results. Now, out of the 5 states in the south, BJP has drawn 0 in 3 states. That is Tamil Nadu, Kerala, and Andhra Pradesh. So in Telangana they got 4 seats, but they did very well in Karnataka, where they increased their seats from 17 to 25. So there is kind of a mismatch even within the south, and we need to see how many they will accommodate from where, because you need to have representation from south as well, because that is the next, I think, stage where BJP wants to make inroads even in Tamil Nadu and Kerala, to an extent in Andhra Pradesh as well. So, but with 25 MPs coming from Karnataka, how many can they accommodate? Can they accommodate a young man like Tejasvi Surya, or will they go for old hands like Sadananda Gowda, or controversial Hegde from North Karnataka? So these are the names that are being bandied about, but finally we have to see who all make it to this cabinet.
Right, who all will make it to the cabinet? That is the big question. Just for perspective, let me share with you the average age of the cabinet in India. The Vajpayee cabinet, the average age was 61. UPA 1, the average age was 67. UPA 2, it was 67 again. And 2014, the average age of the Indian cabinet was 56. What we can say for sure is that there will be 2 vacancies in the top ministries, the CCS. India will get a new finance minister for sure. Arun Jaitley is not present here. And India will get an external affairs minister, a new one, because Sushma Swaraj is not sitting on the dais. So 2 big posts to be filled now. 2 leaders will get an elevation. If Amit Shah takes a cabinet berth, it is very likely that he may be one of those people. Will it be S. Jaishankar? And you said lobbying doesn't help, Arun, in a dispensation like this. But I'm sure leaders who've worked for very many years would not like the sight of an S. Jaishankar walking in, sitting on the dais in the front row, and probably walking away with a plum post.
No, I don't think so, Palki. I think there is enough space for everybody. And the BJP also realizes that they have to take talent from outside also. Foreign affairs is kind of a thing where generally you have seen former diplomats manning the ministerial positions. If you would recall that in the previous term also, M.J. Akbar had also come and joined the ministry. So I don't think that should be, yes. Sometimes, there are rumblings also, like when they had taken R.K. Singh. So at that time, there was an issue because many perceived that he was the guy who had actually coined the term Hindu terror. So there are some issues, but they also, I think over a period of time, the workers, the leaders, they have also matured. And they realize that there are a lot of political compulsions also. But as far as S. Jaishankar is concerned, I don't think that there should be any problem with that. Because you have seen General V.K. Singh coming earlier in the government. So I don't see a problem with S. Jaishankar coming. in this thing.
No, I don't think there's a problem. But foreign affairs has been an area of focus, Andrew, for this government. Narendra Modi himself has visited 90 countries in his first term, so much so that people said that now he's visiting India. He usually spends his time outside. That was a joke. But he has worked very hard on building relations, on building bilateral ties. And Sushma Swaraj has been instrumental in helping him do that. As the Foreign Affairs Minister, she's been one of the senior-most leaders of the party. With her exit, there is vacuum, and many wondered if Smriti Irani is going to be rewarded with a post like that, but it looks unlikely with S. Jaishankar sitting there on the dais.